Good day, my soul brothers and sisters. Today I wanted to make a video about the importance of not getting too emotionally attached to the things that are happening in the world. The political things, the medical things, the economical things. You know, there's a prayer that we say before the start of every meeting and at the end of every meeting, the gist of which has never been more important than in today's environment. And that prayer is the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so I'm making this video just as much for myself as I am for you. This is sort of an acknowledgement of my own inability to resist the gravitational pull of what's happening in the media right now. All the polarization, all the conflict, all the controversy. On some level, on the material plane, there's a lot of chaos happening right now. And I found myself getting sucked into that vortex. And because I'm someone who's in recovery, and I'm someone who is trying to grow spiritually, I found that getting too involved in all of this has come to the detriment of my ability to pursue what's actually most important, and that is my connection with God, or my search for a deeper truth. And so what I found is that by watching all of this stuff, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube or online, and diving deep into all of the minutiae of all of the things that are going on, of who's corrupt and who's lying to who, and what's right and what's wrong, and the statistics and all of this stuff has really, I saw how it made my mind incredibly disturbed, to the point where I would spend hours doing this quote unquote research to get informed, to try to figure things out, to suss out some sort of truth from all the varying opinions that are being blasted out there by all of these independent sources, by mainstream media, whoever is just putting all this stuff out on a daily basis. There's like a just giant torrent of information. And not just information, but very biased and very emotionally charged content. And so I found that when I was getting sucked into all of that, I just started to lose my connection to that deeper center, to myself, to some of my more fundamentally important spiritual principles and values, such as, non-harming, such as honesty, such as non-attachment, such as selflessness, such as discipline. And so it just brings me back to that understanding that really if we want to experience happiness, if we want to feel connected, if we want to have a beautiful recovery, we have to pick. We cannot have both. You can't spend hours online looking at all this stuff and getting emotionally involved and then expect to be able to feel connected to your higher power, to be peaceful, loving, and kind to the people around you. Because on some level, your mind, even if it's not a conscious thing, on some level, your mind is going to be disturbed and agitated. And the smallest little thing that someone says or does can make that agitation rise to the surface like a bad reflex of some sort. And so what I've done to come back to that state of harmony and balance and peace is I've made a conscious choice to disconnect myself from all of that stuff and to acknowledge what's really important for me. Is it important for me to become involved in all of this stuff when I'm 99.9% unable to change most of what's happening, right? As the prayer says, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. And yet I'm so involved in it as though I can actually, change politics or change what the government is mandating when it comes to vaccination passports or whatever issue it is, right? Is that what I really want? Or do I want to focus on the things that I can control, right? I think the whole concept of the circle of influence comes from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Individuals. I think that's the book's title, where the author, Stephen Covey, talks about the fact that most people waste so much of their energy focusing on the things that they have no influence over, rather than actually focusing on the things that they do have an influence over, which is primarily yourself, and then to a lesser degree, the people that are close to you. That by spending all that energy focusing on the things that they cannot control, they then ignore the things that they can do to make their life better. Whether it's in the spiritual sense or in the financial sense or in the sense of fostering healthy relationships. And so I found that when I made that conscious choice to disconnect from all of that and to really focus on the things that I can control, my life started to become a lot better. There was a lot less stress. There was a lot more happiness. And all of a sudden, I'm becoming so much more effective in the things that I'm actually interested in, such as putting out content that's inspirational for those of you who watch it. All of these things that I can control, I now have so much more time and energy for, instead of being completely sucked into that vortex of sort of outside issues that I can't really do anything about. Now, the caveat to that is that it is good to be informed to some extent. But the key there is to recognize when there are things that you cannot control and to be detached from those things. Be informed about what's happening, but make that a very tiny part of your focus and concentrate on the things that you can actually affect, which is, for me, having a very healthy daily regimen of waking up, meditating first thing in the morning, of being productive in terms of the work that I'm doing as it pertains to meditation and helping others, sponsoring people in the program, of being there for my family, giving them attention by calling them regularly or visiting with them or cooking meals around the house. So just focusing on those fundamental building blocks that actually create the stability that I want in my life, that actually helps me to feel free to pursue my spiritual growth. So that's what I wanted to share today. I don't know if it's going to help any of you. I don't know if you guys can relate. I'm sure to some extent everybody can relate to this because we're all in this kind of environment. Just remember, when in doubt, zoom out, right? On some level of reality, that stuff is happening and it's important, but there's a much greater reality for those of us who are spiritual that is way more important, that is eternal, that is far more expansive, and that transcends any moment in history or in time. Have a blessed day. Joy to you.